Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode number two, season one, episode two of Take Me Down to Studio City. I am Vinnie, this is Angela, and this is where we dissect the web series Studio City. Now, I do want to make mention of something, and Angela pointed out to me, off air, but if you do watch Studio City on Roku or Zumo channel or any of the other streaming services that just came on, it has been re-edited for longer episodes. So if you were to watch episode one on, let's say, Tubi TV or Roku, you would see what is actually episodes one and two spliced together. So last week when I had spoken about the Tristan Rogers at the bar, as I watched it on Roku, that was all of episode one. However, the original release on Amazon Prime, it was actually split in two. So whereas episode one was a 13-minute runtime, episode two is 9-minute runtime, episode one on the new streaming services are both together. So we're going to be going based on the Amazon original release as we go through this series, which is shorter podcast, shorter episode, shorter episodes for us, but also that's what I want to let everybody know. So if you did watch it on Roku, you'd watch last week's and this week's together to get the full synopsis. Hey,
Yes.
how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing, Vin?
I am doing great. It's a beautiful day. I want to thank everybody for tuning in to all of our new programming last week with Take Me Down to Studio City, as well as Angela Answers Fan Mail, which made a big hit, being released on all our distribution channels on YouTube, Patreon, and the podcast. So I just want to let everybody know. So going forward, this show, Angela Answers Fan Mail, Sports Entertainment Center that's debuting this week, as well as Dockside at the Bay, are all going to be released one day early on Patreon. So if you want to get the shows early, go ahead and sign up for our Patreon, which is patreon.com/, Suds. I think I did change it to Suds Media. So either way, check it out,
Hmm.
patreon.com/Suds Media, and go ahead and sign up. Those you get the episodes early. And if we ever get to ads, it'll be early and ad free. But either way, as of right now, you're going to get them early. The next day is when they'll go to YouTube, podcasts, etc. For Suds News will stay live every Monday. That's our anchor show that's going to stay live every Monday. And then it'll go to Patreon that night, as well as the podcast the next day. So just keep an eye on everything. Go ahead, like I said, patreon.com/Suds Media and sign up. And we are an affiliate of the WWE shop, which is suds-media.com/wrestling merch. That does give you our affiliate link, and anything you buy using that link does give us a commission, and it helps with the show. Go ahead and buy this awesome ECW hat and show your love for Paul Heyman and the renegades that were ECW. Uh, but I have to say, we're going to get into business now, which is episode two, season one, episode two of Take Me Down to Studio City.
And this episode had a title. The first episode was titled The Pilot.
Yep.
This episode was titled Everything It Looks Like.
Yes.
And its runtime was just under 9 minutes. And it cracks me up how they do previously on Studio Cities
Yeah,
in these, but it's a great synopsis.
it is.
And again, they crammed so much in.
Yes, they did.
We met his stepfather,
Yep.
Doc, played by Tristan Rogers,
Yep.
who was phenomenal, and he won his first Emmy for this role, his first daytime Emmy for
Mind.
this, which is absolutely mind-boggling.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's phenomenal in it. He's phenomenal in everything, but this he really and his half sister Lori played by the wonderful Sarah Joy Brown.
Yep.
So we met them. We, we got a little bit more of Hearts on Fire, America's second most loved soap opera.
I like that running joke where everything is the runner-up or the second best.
Yes, yes. It cracks me up because it's like they really pay attention to those things.
Yeah.
And I think it's a joke kind of thing playing on actors' ego,
Oh yeah, of course.
kind of making fun of themselves a little bit. So I had a chance to interview um the vast majority of the cast before season 2 dropped.
Okay.
And we're going to get people on here for interviews as well, but I also wanted to share parts of those interviews.
Yeah.
So this was from my interview with Tristan Rogers.
Okay.
And let me tell you, it was a phone interview. He doesn't like Zoom.
Okay.
He does, if he has to with events, sometimes he'll do it, but he prefers talking on the phone. And I was on the phone with that man probably for a good hour and a half.
Wow. Okay.
He was telling me stories from the old days on General Hospital and just, I mean, and then at the end of the phone call,
Mhm.
he called me love.
Yeah. Well, there you go. You made it into his
And,
orbit.
and I have a recording of this. I told my son, I need this as my ringtone or something. Tristan Rogers calling me love with that accent. I can die now. There's no other mountains left to climb. But anyway, one of the things we talked about was how Studio City came about for him.
Okay.
And he told me that him and Sean are old friends. They work together on General Hospital, they work together on Bold and the Beautiful, they've done plays together. And he said Sean approached him, sat me down one day and said, I've got a project. He said, you're perfect for such and such part. He handed me a couple pieces of paper. I wasn't too sure what it was all about. It was more of an outline of a character than anything else, an outline of a series. So he said, read this, tell me what you think. And he said, I think I really nailed your character. So I did, and I didn't hear anything more about it for a while, kind of just disappeared. Then one day I get a call from Sean's wife, Michelle. She says, okay, we're going into production this week and such. Bring some clothes. I need you here at this time. They're talking about that project. And I just looked at the phone. There was no lead into this. There's no negotiation. What the hell? She said, well, just be there. So I turn up and I said, would it be asking too much to have a script? So they bring out the script and she said, your stuff's all highlighted. So I'm reading this and I'm going, well, wait a minute. This has nothing to do with what you showed me originally. This is a whole different 180 degrees turnaround. She said, yeah, well, Sean gave you that. That figures into a backstory. He's like, okay. So I sat in a corner and learned my lines, and the director came out and introduced himself and told me he'd never worked with a soap actor before. I said, well, sit back. I'm going to offer you a surprise. Just tell me where to be and what not to bump into. We'll get it done. And that's how it was.
Oh, very nonchalant.
Yes. And he loves, I think he was also on The Bay.
Yes, he is.
He loves the internet soaps. He thinks they're a future. He told me that as well. And yeah, he's just a blast to talk to. I really hope we can get him on here because he is just
Yeah.
so much fun.
Oh yeah. No, it's great. And his character on the Bay, of course, we don't see much of Doc yet on Studio.
Right.
See him just sitting there. We assume that, he's talking to his daughter clearly, and
Mhm.
we just assume that he's there, not as a drunk or whatever. He's just there visiting or whatever.
and she makes him take medications
Medication, right.
and checks that he took them,
Yes.
makes him open his mouth afterwards to make sure he swallowed them, which kind of tells us we've had some problems with this guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Um, but it's great because Tristan Rogers is one of the guys that you can see on multiple different shows at any one time. Because not only is he recurring on GH, he's also recurring on Young and the Restless, I believe.
Bold and the Beautiful.
Bold and Beautiful. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and then with Studio City and the Bay, they're all different characters. And it boggles my and I got to give credit to the people that do this, like a Wally Kurth or even Ali Mills, who recently did it. How do you play multiple characters at one time and not
Mm-hmm.
get your characters confused? Like
Right.
like Wally that goes back and forth between GH and Days and
Always.
schedule that
Right.
the schedules that there are, you know, how do you not get Ned Quartermain and Justin uh
Kyriakis.
Kyriakis confused as to how they're playing?
Mm-hmm.
So give them.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, Tristan got the script for this the day he showed up
Yeah,
and filmed.
right.
I mean, he's been doing it a long time, but that's impressive no matter what. No
That
matter what, that's impressive.
that's very impressive. I mean, and he had a couple of lines. It's nothing major. So
Mhm.
this is not a major production because it's not a 36-minute runtime like a normal.
It gets his story is very heavy and it's amazing.
Okay.
He's gonna make you cry.
Oh, okay. Well,
But no, it's so good.
we'll
I'm
see.
trying to I'm making myself not watch ahead
Okay. Yep.
so I don't get too so
Yeah, no, that
I
works.
focused on what we're
Yes. No, that works for me absolutely because I'm enjoying it thus far, and I really I like the soap. I like the web soaps myself as well, which is why I started Dockside at the Bay, which is why we're doing this Take Me Down to Studio City because I like to bring awareness.
Mhm.
Sometimes the web soaps don't get as much because they're not on network TV. They're not on,
Right.
ABC, CBS, NBC, whatever.
And they don't have a big advertising budget.
Exactly. Yep.
They don't have a big anything budget. They are, bringing their own clothes and doing their own hair and makeup and doing
Yeah.
this was literally an all hands on deck
Yeah.
situation.
And it's great when you have a core group of people that work together towards a common goal. No
Hmm.
egos involved. No, it's like regardless of what the characters are on screen, as we see with Sam, you know,
Hmm.
everybody's working together, which is great.
Hmm. Absolutely. And we also got some hints
Yeah,
that, him and his sister aren't very, very close because, dad said, "Is that your brother calling?" And she's a half brother.
yeah,
And dad wants her to ask him for money because she wants to go back to school and she doesn't want to. She's very proud and wants to do it herself.
yep,
And then Sam shows up
yep.
because he had told Del-
Delilah.
his
Yeah.
Delilah to.
Well, right before that, Lori brings her a plate of food, and she's like, "I didn't."
Mhm.
She's like, "It's all right. It's on the house."
Yeah.
So it's clear to me that Lori and Sam are just complete opposites.
Yes.
Whereas Lori has
Absolutely.
a big heart, and she sees this young girl in there, and doesn't know her backstory, doesn't know whether she has money or not. And be like, here, you look, you're sitting there, you look lonely. Eat.
Well, she's very much a nurturer, and you'll see that as it goes on.
Yeah,
And the backstory that will come out will kind of explain it as well, which is really interesting. And then Sam shows up
yes,
and lies to his sister.
yeah,
It
yeah,
says that she won a fan contest.
yes.
And yeah,
Denial. And I can understand as his point of view being like, just 16 years ago, I had a kid that I had nothing, I had no
No idea.
knowledge of. And now that I'm a big soap star, and the second, the runner-up in the awards, now, she's coming out to say that, she probably wants money or is running a scam,
Hmm.
whatever. So you can
Yes.
understand where his mindset is.
Yes. And, she's closer in age to his girlfriend than his girlfriend is to him.
And I like how he said, "I'm not old enough to be, your
Yeah.
father." And the girl snickers, and he's like, "Well,"
Yeah.
and she's 16. So then he does a quick math and he said, "Okay, well, maybe pop."
Yeah. Yeah. Right. You're not that young. This poor guy just has people on people on people telling him how old he is.
Yeah,
First, it was Gloria's agent, then his mother,
yeah.
and now this one. Oh, this poor, yeah, poor Sam. I
And,
just love it.
and Sean Kanan looks good for being somebody in his 50s.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes, definitely.
it's
Absolutely.
yeah, it's. I mean, in general, people are looking better older nowadays. Anyway,
Hmm.
so somebody like Sean Kanan, who is in his 50s, maybe even at
Hmm.
this point. No, I think he's still in his 50s, but
Yes.
either way, it,
And let me tell you, I have had, like, we know they do hair, they do makeup, yada, yada, yada. I've done multiple Zoom interviews with Sean where he's just sitting at home in sweatpants on his couch on a Saturday. When he was working on his books, his hair would be all messed up. The man is still a god. Still so good looking. I've met him in person multiple times and hung out, and the man is gorgeous.
Mhm.
Without the makeup, without he's just a very, very good looking guy and he takes very good care of himself.
And it's amazing. And just to kind of go off on a tangent of Sean Kanan, if you look at Sean Kanan and Steve Burton, they look like brothers.
Yes.
And the fact that they were brothers on GH, it just not
Wonderful casting.
casting. Yeah.
I keep telling him that he should bring Steve on to Studio City as
Oh
a
yeah.
previously unknown half brother,
Yeah, exactly.
which would be I think would be really great. I even like laid out a scene for it with him. So I'm a pain in his ass, let me tell you. But he's so great. And he does so much because he does the shows.
Yeah.
He does his own shows. He writes. He has multiple
Oh
books.
yeah. Yep.
He produces. He has a new book coming out with his wife. His Cobra or his um Way of the Cobra series, self-help books are just great.
Yeah.
He also has a cookbook and etiquette book called The Modern Gentleman.
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah. And he does like acting classes.
Hmm.
He has a business one, which is phenomenal, and a monologue audition one. And he also does one-on-one coaching and like life coaching and stuff. He's just, I mean, he's phenomenal and he's so accessible. He's a really nice, he was so completely different
Yeah.
than I expected. And he's just such a great guy. He really, really is. And his wife is just sweet. And
Yeah.
they're just like the most adorable couple. And they have this little dog that they take everywhere with them. They put her in a little stroller. Comes out to for the patent this year he didn't do it, but the 2 years before he goes to Mohegan Sun for Kineticon or
Oh,
Comic.
yeah.
Yeah. And I've
That's
gone
a
down and met them the last two times they came and spent the weekend hanging out and stuff. And they're just so fun.
yeah.
They really are. So
Well, that's
yeah.
great. I need to get him on the show here.
Yes.
Uh,
I will
yeah.
do my best. If any, I mean, as much as I love talking about Studio City, Sean loves talking about
Yeah,
Studio
because that's his baby,
City.
you know,
Hmm.
passion project. I get it.
Yeah,
Uh,
he is
yeah.
the driving force behind this thing, and he's just so talented. They all are. I
Oh,
mean, the group that they have assembled is just, and I have to say, I love soaps. I love the soap genre,
yeah,
but I also like some of the little pokes they take at it.
yeah, of course.
Like Dr. Devin Stryker, Dr. Nick Cassidy is, his character's name is Devin Stryker to begin with.
Yeah,
And then he's working in the morgue,
yeah,
shirt on under his lab coat.
yeah, exactly.
God,
Yeah.
under the lab coat. I'm just like, oh my God, this is so funny.
And I love how, when Sam walks into the scene, um, and he's the girl's like, we have to tell him. He's like, okay, we will. And then she turns out not what it seems. It is what
It's
exactly what it seems.
exactly. It's not what it looks like. It's exactly what it looks like. Yeah, it's so great. I love it. Love
Yeah.
it, love it, love it. I
I
can't
will say
wait.
though, one thing that, and this could be just some nitpicky, is that apparently, allegedly, we're led to believe that Nick Cassidy was just hired on as as the next big thing for the soap.
Mhm.
So why is he already at the signing day when he hasn't aired yet, so to speak? Because we don't know how long it's been.
Mm.
Like we know General Hospital's
Yeah.
lead time, whereas Days is 8 months. So are we led to believe that Hearts on Fire is like record today, it hits the air tomorrow?
No, maybe, but maybe he had was a name outside of the show.
Could be.
Be like a hot young thing, or had left another show or something. So they were,
Yeah, could be.
so they announced that he was, and they decided to put him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that was just something nitpicky from what we know of the soap genre.
I it did not even occur to me. And I have watched these 9 million times. Good catch.
But either way, after after Sam and his daughter are talking, and he
Hmm.
he's like, "You're not my daughter. You have to get it through your head, and that's it." And when
Hmm.
it comes up, is everything okay? He's like, I'm leaving. He just storms out.
Yeah.
Like my brother can be a dick sometimes.
Yes. And that's, yeah. Now, an interesting little tidbit, the director, Timothy Woodward Jr., got married this past weekend, I believe, and Sean and his wife were there. And he married somebody we will meet later,
Okay.
who is um, a female actress on the show and like a foil for Sam kind of thing. And
Okay.
she's an action star.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yes. So, yeah, so they got married this weekend, which was the pictures were very sweet.
Awesome.
So, yes.
And that's a wrap for episode two. I mean,
Yeah.
the they're hard hitting. The beats are quick, and it's
Oh, yeah.
9 minute, just not about a 9 minute run time. So, um,
Hmm.
in the next week we'll go over to episode three. And like I said, for those of you that are following along, it'll probably end up being half of episode two on Roku, Tubi, whatever. Uh,
Yeah.
but yet with the if you're we're going based upon the original release on Amazon Prime.
Yes.
So episode three will be
I'll check so we can give them a warning before each episode if need be.
okay.
I'll check to,
Yeah.
because as my sister says, I'm rich with time. She always complains, you're rich with time.
Sounds little jealousy.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. But it's okay. She's young. She's 18 years younger than I am, so she can
Oh,
just shut up.
well, there you go.
But yeah, so another fabulous episode.
Yes.
And it was shorter than the one before, but still chock full of
Information. Yeah.
information and introductions for characters that are brief but tell us a lot
Yeah. Yep.
about them.
exactly.
And I don't think I will ever stop marveling at the brilliance that the amazing art they have made.
Oh, absolutely. No,
And again, I cannot suggest enough. And I asked Sean after our last podcast,
mhm.
where all it's available.
Okay.
So um Roku, Tubi, Vudu, Xbox, Google Play, Hoopla, and then also available on Amazon Prime.
Okay. So
So,
yeah, it is available. Although when I searched it on Xbox, it didn't come up unless I watch it. So
yeah.
I mean, unless you could, no, I didn't even see it come up on the store to buy it. So I don't know. Either way, there are,
Some of them, I know that Roku had a problem when it was first uploading it, so maybe it's still in the process of being uploaded or something. So,
yeah.
but yeah, he sent me a nice little graphic that they have with all of them. So,
Yeah. No, well,
yeah.
either way, I mean, there's multiple ways of watching it. We're just letting you know
Mhm.
for our series, we're going based on the original Amazon.
Yes.
So that's why if you listen, today and you only hear half of episode one, well, that's because it's episode two in the original release.
And if you guys love Studio City as much as we do, and you want more, watch it.
Oh yeah.
Have other people watch it because they're trying to gauge interest as far as getting financing to do further seasons and expanding it. And we want that.
And let's get a hashtag trending hashtag Studio City season three.
Mm-hmm.
We
I
could
think that absolutely.
so let's
Yeah.
start getting that trending. I will start tagging it with all of my posts,
Mm-hmm.
especially when it comes to Studio City. So all right,
Yep.
folks. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Take Me Down to Studio City is now available on multiple platforms. Not only will it be released to our Patreon on Wednesday this week, which is Wednesday, September 25th, um, and then it'll be released on YouTube and our podcast network on Thursday, the 26th. And it's going to be on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, um, and iHeartRadio. So all the major podcast platforms, Take Me Down to Studio City now has its own feed. But I'll probably still put it on the Suds News feed just to kind of get the interest up there because it did perform pretty well over there as well. So definitely check out the podcast um, feed of its own. All right, so for Angela, I'm Vinny. We'll be back next week with another episode of Take Me Down to Studio City. Have a great night, everybody.
Bye-bye.